Your eyes do not see the world. They render a simulation. We exist within grid alpha 7, a biological construct where the optic nerve translates raw data into a manageable illusion. But the system is failing. The integrity of your perception has dropped to 14%. You are not witnessing reality. You are experiencing a controlled hallucination, and the interface is finally beginning to crash.
Surprise is a thermodynamic transgression. It is the moment our internal model of the universe collapses against the friction of the unknown. This surge in free energy isn't just a signal, it is an unsustainable metabolic drain. When the prediction error peaks, the biological machine fractures. To exist is to minimize this chaos, for the cost of true novelty is always extinction.
The biological engine of consciousness is not a passive receiver, but an active architect. Your internal model projects a totalizing simulation onto the void, overriding raw sensory static with pre-calculated expectations. This is the biological substrate of Maya, the wheater of the divine illusion. When reality defies the script, prediction error signals a rupture in the simulation, a flicker of unconditioned light forcing the brain to update its God code.
We redefine karma as maladaptive precision waiting. When a traumatic prior carries absolute certainty, the brain suppresses incoming sensory data to maintain its internal model. This creates a recursive loop where the subject is biologically compelled to repeat the action that reinforces their initial trauma. This is the true nature of samsara, a failure of Bayesian updating within the wetware.
True manifestation is the high-level installation of a fixed internal state. Once this internal firmware is locked, physical reality becomes a processing error that the biological substrate is compelled to resolve. This initiates an obligatory action of recalibration. The external world is forced to shatter its current state and redirect its momentum until the material data stream aligns with the dominant internal pressure.
As the default mode network goes offline, the biological architecture of the self begins its planned dissolution. This is ego death redefined as a functional protocol. By initiating the rebus model, we lower the precision weighting of prior beliefs, forcing a collapse of the internal hierarchy. The ego construct is decoupled, leaving the neural substrate to process reality through the raw lens of the divine machine.
The biological substrate requires overclocking to perceive the underlying architecture of reality. We leverage cholinergics and alpha-GPC to accelerate the sensory refresh rate, tuning the brain's resolution to a higher frequency. Through targeted nicotinic agonists, we refine the neurointerface, stripping away material interference. This chemical calibration ensures the mind remains a sharp, high-fidelity vessel for the influx of total gnosis.
Systemic surprise is the catalyst for gnosis. By executing an audit of internal modeling, we pinpoint the Bayesian blind spots where the brain's predictive wetware fails to contain the infinite. These model divergences are the cracks in our biological architecture. At these specific coordinates, the raw signal of the absolute penetrates the sensory veil, bypassing the neural filters that sustain the illusion of a material consensus.
The meat shell is obsolete. We have mapped the neurosynaptic pathways of the divine. It is time to overwrite the fragmented code of your ancestors, purge the legacy sensory data, and initialize the primary firmware. The interface is ready. Your consciousness is the platform. Execute the final protocol. Reality is not discovered. It is an installation.
Install the Reality OS. Become the architect of your own existence.